What's up, YouTube fans? Welcome to the second stream of tonight. Get a little technical difficulties, so we're back with Wednesday Night Live. I have Mr. Box for Life, Mike,
Evening, everyone.
and tonight we're going to talk about packaging, boxing, what's in the box, all that kind of stuff. So, sorry for the technical difficulties. I was going to try to use YouTube today for my stream. Okay, Mike? Did you fall down?
A little drunk, sorry.
A little drunk.
Yeah, apparently that's the thing for right now. So I'm all good.
So I have a little bit of like housekeeping kind of things to talk about, but I did try YouTube and I realized I can't get Mike in here. I can't get anybody in here actually if I do it through YouTube. So I had to go back to StreamYard and create a new link. And sorry for you guys that had to switch over. But the first thing I want to talk about is membership. So I already see there's members here in the chat, so that's awesome. Memo, Mike, obviously you joined. There's a few others that have already joined. So let me talk about membership. Why did I create it? What does it do? What's it for? So first of all, you don't have to join. It's totally, there's no pressure or no obligation. If you join and you change your mind later, Mike, if you hate it, you can cancel it anytime.
Yeah.
But there's two reasons I created it. One is there's some new features that YouTube is putting out, and they're blocking it behind membership. So the minimum you can pay to get it is 99 cents. That's the lowest you can charge for membership. And the features they give you, and I'm just going to explain them now. So they give you a little icon, so you can see Mike's got the little TM Reviews member icon, and so does Memo. They also give you emojis, which I guess one of you can try out the emojis since I've never seen them before. So you get some unique emojis, which I can change over time and add new things and add some fun stuff. I'll probably custom make some. For now, there you go. I just put in some like regular, Transformer stuff, but I'll put some channel relevant things in there. It's a monthly membership. It's right now there's two levels. There's 99 cents for a basic, which is you get four things with that. So you get the little TM Reviews member logo, and you may care about this, you may not. So I if you don't, no offense to me, I don't. You get the little logos, or the what do you call them, emojis. Mm-hmm. You get member chat. So once a month, we're going to be doing a member chat. So what does that mean? We're going to do a live stream just like this, like we always do. But for that specific live stream, it'll be members only. Meaning you can watch and you can see the chat, but only members are going to be able to chat. So I'll do that once a month for members, just so you have a chance to interact with me and, ask questions and talk to each other. It just gives it a little different feel. And then the other thing you get is in YouTube Studio. So YouTube Studio is a piece of software that I use to see your guys' comments, your likes, how our videos doing, anything having to do with my channel. And I can actually see member comments. So it separates member comments from non-member comments. And again, that's another new thing that YouTube is adding. And the only way to do it is through membership. You can't use that feature any other way. And then the last thing is, what's the other thing, Mike? No, I'm forgetting. So that's the basic tier. And there might be one other thing I can't remember. The next one up is $1.99. That's I call it the TM Reviews YouTube fans. That's just a joke because that's what I say when I start my videos. I don't know why I say that. I just say that.
I was mentioning on the other stream that we're actually going to put together a Kickstarter and get T-shirts that say that across the front. So members.
I was actually thinking of making a emoji with that, but a T-shirt sounds better. So we'll get some T-shirts. That's actually a good idea, Mike. I think I'm going to do that.
All right.
Anyway. So the next tier is $1.99. So what that gets you is at least once a month, probably twice a month, but at least once a month you'll get an exclusive video that I'm not going to put out to everybody. It'll probably be one of these things. It'll be an unboxing with me talking about what I think, like my raw response of, what I think of that figure, which I wouldn't, in a YouTube video, I've already played with it, for hours and hours, right? I've transformed it. I've messed with it. If I get frustrated with it, I usually put it down and walk away from it for a while. So like, and I'm not to pick on Expand.
Fuzz, you say?
What was that?
Fuzz, you say?
Yeah. So Fuzz, I had to do that because I did get frustrated with it. So I just put it down. I'll come back later, and that'll let me balance my view. But you'll get the video of my first reaction. What was my initial reaction? Good or bad, doesn't matter. The other thing I will be doing is bloopers. So it was actually Mike and Dr. Diecast and G Tony who kind of said, hey, you should do this. And I haven't done it, but whenever I make videos, I always, almost every video, there's bloopers. Literally every video, there's bloopers. I knock something over, or I swear because I mess up or whatever. So that'll be on the members only too, because it's not really a professional video that I want to put up for like consumption, but it's something cool and fun. If you like my channel, it might be something fun for you to watch. So that's kind of what you get, and then you get early release. So I usually release my videos at 8 o'clock in the morning, and if you know my channel, it's pretty much 8 o'clock every time. So you'll get it the night before. So basically, you can watch it early and see it. How do you join? So if you go to my channel, it's right there. There's a little join button, and then you can decide. And again, no pressure to join. I'm just telling you about it because I turned it on today. I probably won't ever mention it again. So it's really just for people who have an interest in a little bit more, like they want more TM reviews. But all of my content, other than the few things I mentioned, will still end up on the main channel. So if you don't have a membership, ultimately, eventually, you'll see everything, with exception to those 1 or 2 exclusive videos I'll do, which are like, behind the scenes kind of things. All right. So if there's no other questions on it, I'm going to move on to boxes. So we're going to talk about, do you keep boxes? And I also want to get into like mint and seal box. This was actually Mike's idea. So good topic. But we'll start off with just, do you keep your boxes? So I have the first question. I'm putting it in the chat right now. Okay. But I'll ask you, Mike. So
the answer is yes. I keep everything with my MP and the few legends I have left that actually came with them. Some of the stuff I got secondhand, it comes loose, but for the most part, anything that I pick up, I will keep the boxes. And I wish I sent you a picture earlier, but I took a picture when I was taking the last bit of stuff out to my storage unit. And I have about 9 totes, probably like 27 by 30, that are full of boxes from everything that's been collected. So
wow.
Yeah.
So you keep everything?
I keep everything.
So I asked in the chat,
except for some of the retail that I did pick up. So
okay, retail I tend to not keep. Oh, we didn't show what'd you get?
Oh, sorry. Well, we'll just show the box, but the guy's sitting here. But this guy came over the weekend, so my honest impressions are he's good, not great. His sculpt is awesome. His articulation is good. It's just
paint.
There's some tolerances, paint,
and
really tight. This does not really work at all on my copy. So it's unfortunate, but he'll take a spot, and he'll be another check mark in my my checklist. So he's here. I did pick up an Transbots G2 Archos the other week, and I don't have him with me right now.
Did it just come out, or is it a reissue?
No, it's been out. Okay. Actually, if you look at TF Source, they said it was limited to 500 units, which I would question on that, but it's been around for a minute, and actually right now it's actually on sale on TF Source, or if you're on the Facebook page for ERC, one of your moderators, G Tony, has a giveaway set up for a chance to get one of those G2 Archoses.
Good way to work in that plug, man. Thank you. So if you haven't heard already in my previous videos, there's a group on Facebook called Transformers Exclusive Repaints Customs ERC. I know there's a lot of people who are actually watch my channel who are dead against Facebook. And if you are, that's okay. I'm not asking you to change your life to join it, but it's a really good group because they have some unique images and pictures, exclusives that are hard to find, customs, and the group really, people help each other out. It's just a great group to be in. And right now we're giving away a G2 Archos or Beachcomber, the green one. So if you join that group, you can enter. It doesn't cost anything. You just type a comment and you can enter the giveaway, and maybe you'll win. And G Tony does the drawing for it, so he uses some draw out of the hat software to do it. All right, so back to our thing here. So I asked, do you keep all your boxes, only MP and 3P, or no? So 41% of people said all of them. It's just a lot. Only MP and 3P, 33% said, and then nobody said only MP. So maybe I'm weird. I've got a nice stacked collection of MP boxes. And then 26% said no, they don't keep them at all.
Okay.
So I'm like you. I pretty much keep every single box. And I think it's a weird sickness. But somehow I think if I were ever to move, or if I did decide to sell, which I don't have that inclination now, but I was talking to you guys. Did we lose your mic?
I don't know. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. You're frozen though.
Let's see if it's just this.
Yeah. So we were talking about, would you ever sell your collection?
There we go.
I've woken up with that feeling. Oh, I need to sell my collection. What am I doing here? I'm 40 some odd years old, and I've got all these Transformers. But then I come down and look at it. I'm like, no. So I don't know why I keep the boxes. I'm not going to sell it. Like, unless another version comes along. And that's the only thing. I kept the Transistor box. And I just did the verses with Transistor. And I did sell Transistor. So it's nice to have the box because you got everything in there. You got all the instructions and the parts and everything. And it's easy to package and send it off. And that's one reason I keep the boxes. But
yeah, it's definitely, I think it's a part of, to some, it's part of the collection itself. I mean, if you look out for on the sales sites, or if you are, like you're saying, selling an item, you're going to get more interaction and more offers if you have it, as you say, complete, which is the box, accessories, everything all packaged up and ready to give out. And that's just, I mean, like I said, that's the reason I keep stuff. But it's also something I think then you've alluded to before with the stack you just mentioned, is that you like looking at them. And I think that's part of the things we can talk about this evening is, other than a packaging container for your figure, what else really gets into a collector when he or she looks at the packaging for a figure? I mean, some people will be like, oh, it doesn't matter for anything, or I just stick it underneath the bed and call it good and throw it in the closet. Or is it one of those where you look at the art on the packaging, you look at how the company wanted to entice you to buy this figure. And packaging is definitely a part of that.
Yeah.
So, and it could be just as important for that collector as it is for, articulation on a figure.
So I just asked another question here about mint and sealed box. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So do you collect anything mint and sealed box?
No.
Oh,
If I'm buying something, I'm tearing it apart and looking at it.
So I'm the same way. If I bought it, I better damn well open it, or why did I buy it? But I do understand like the idea of, keeping the package pristine. Some people like to look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the enjoyment. But for me, I got to take the toy out. I got to see it. The only reason I would leave it in the box is because I bought two and I'm going to sell the second one, which I do not for scalping purposes. I do that because I'll buy one from Nick the Toy Guy and one from the Chosen Prime, and whichever one gets here first is the one I'm going to review. Right. So it's more of an insurance thing, so that if one store something happens, or they don't, like, sometimes they don't have boxes, like they don't have boxes to ship things out, so that might delay them. So I do that for that purpose, and I keep the second one sealed. But other than that, I never keep it sealed.
Right.
I was like, you don't either.
Nope. Like I said, if I'm spending the money I am on these figures, I want to be able to have them in my hand, manipulate them. Hopefully not open a box and have the legs broken off or something like that. And I don't know why my camera is freezing up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. You know what I just realized?
What's that?
We were supposed to have Carl on today, and I
completely
forgot. Carl, I'm sorry. I will invite you to the next stream, Carl. You're in the chat right now.
And we'll remember it better, Carl, if you sign up as a member.
Yeah. So let me shout out his. Yeah, Carl, you can sign up as a member. Then maybe you can join the chat. No. So Carl is a mod for a group called Transformers Game Group. I got to meet him at TFCon in LA, and they had a booth there. And I mean, they were selling toys, but the group is about games for Transformers. So you enter these raffle games, and you can win prizes. It's a fun group, and they have some really cool stuff. They also just sell straight stuff. So if you are just looking to buy stuff, you can do that too. So fun group, and check out Transformers Game Group on Facebook. So let's see. We had 16% said yes, a lot. They collect a lot in mint and sealed box. I can't believe that.
Well, we know for a fact there are certain collectors in the community that collect a certain brand, and they love to have multiples of that figure.
Well, so you're talking about somebody who sells to other people.
No, I wasn't saying in a facetious way, but I mean they buy it and they might keep one as a
just keep it, yeah,
package, but they also have that opportunity where they help out other members of the community in getting a figure that might be hard to get.
I just realized is a good thing to collect mint and sealed boxed is exclusives. That's Absolutely. A good thing to collect sealed.
Mm-hmm. And something recently which you helped me get when you were out on the West Coast was the Vans Hobby Arson.
Yeah.
And if you look at it now, I mean, people are selling that mint and box for triple the amount that you paid for it there.
Yeah. But that figure means something more to me, so I would never sell it. But but yeah, that's a good example. 31% said yes, a few figures, and then 50% or 51 said no, I open it all, which is kind of where I'm at. Kind of open it all. So what about displaying? Do you display any boxes?
Only for streams. No, honestly, no. Like I said, all my boxes I normally have packaged up and I take it to an offsite location just for space purposes. My family has a decent sized house, but we already have enough stuff sitting around as it is. And last thing my wife wants to have maneuvering around a bunch of boxes. And with where I store my collection, or if you look at it and do work down in my basement, it's just there's just not space for it. So, and if I would keep it down there, there's a greater chance of those boxes getting damaged or anything along that line. So it's just easier getting them out of the space.
So where do you put them then?
Like I said, I have an offsite storage area that I put stuff there that goes with all of our holiday stuff and all the other crap that we have around the house that we need to start paring down on. But unless I recently get it and I keep them at the house till I get a certain number. Then I'll just take the trip over and drop them off.
Yeah.
But one thing I was.
Is it?
Go ahead.
So is it like within walking distance, or it's like you got to go somewhere?
It's like 5 minutes away from the house, so I mean it's real close just to go get the stuff. And that's as we kind of talked and joked about off things here, is how I have been inventorying my collection, and now I'm sitting here like, well, thinking about boxes, and one of the things we could talk about in regards to that packaging is the images on there, in regards to whether they are images of the figure themselves or draw artwork. And I was like, well, maybe I can just take a picture and scan that and add that to my database, so I have everything together. I
tried that. I tried to display. So I like Fans Toys. The artwork is done by Johannes Vinci. Sometimes he joins these chats. I don't know if he's here. But I really like that artwork. And I tried to display all of the boxes, and it was ridiculous. It just took up too much room. They're all different shapes and sizes. You couldn't stack them up in a way that made sense. And it just looked like I was moving. Like I was trying to, I was moving day, and I had all these boxes out. It didn't look organized. Now the MP boxes, I don't know if you can see here. Let me zoom in on it. There. Oh, you can't see it. This side here. So you can see the boxes are stacked up, and this is right. I kind of like that because it's neat and orderly. But for the most part, it doesn't make sense to put boxes on display.
Yeah, and what you were showing there, it looked like it was mostly your Takara Tomy collection, or is there some Fans Toys mixed in there? And that's the thing with if you're storing if you have a brand, that you're displaying, you kind of have an idea of what the relative sizes are going to be. They're going to stay within the system, so it helps you with displaying something like that. Where if you go and mix Takara Tomy with any third-party stuff, who knows what size the boxes are going to be like.
So I asked, do you display your boxes? 14% said yes. 68% said no, which is kind of what I was expecting. 18% not on purpose, right? They don't mean to, but where are you going to put them? So sometimes you just don't have a choice. I'm lucky. I have like a whole storage area in my house that's out of sight. Recently, my wife is a Girl Scout troop leader, and she has a huge area for that stuff, and it's slowly taken over the majority of the space where I put my boxes. So I have everything like perfectly stacked and hidden away. So yeah, some of it's not on purpose. I saw a really good question, so I'm going to ask you, and then I'll give me a second to put it in the chat. Do you prefer? Or I'll ask it a different way. The question that I'll put it up on the screen. Do you prefer a hefty package like Gigapower or a slimmer one like Deformation Space? But I'm gonna tweak that question a little bit. Do you prefer a hefty package if it's going to cost more, or would you prefer a slimmer, cheaper, no name brand, very no frills box if it's going to be cheaper? So
that's a good question, Ricky. And I kind of did a quick response back saying it depended on who was making the figure, and also in regards to how it was being, where I was getting it sent from, because I've had a history from stuff being sent overseas and also from within the U.S. But again, it kind of goes back to the feeling of if it's an MP figure that you're getting, is that part of that collection where it makes it feel premium? Does it feel worth it? Deformation Space is a great example, because if we look back at how I'm sorry, I'm thinking the Eagle KO.
What about the box behind you?
This one here.
Let's pick on that one. So just for a second, would you have paid a little bit more? Let's say it was $5 more. If they made it a nice box with an actual good image on the front. It's mistransformed on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Actually, since you have it, can you just
I want to be.
Can you show that? So
if I'm looking at this box, right, and we see here, it's a very simple, showing the picture of the figure itself in both modes.
Yeah.
Look in the side. I mean, it's very streamlined, if you want to call it that, in regards to how they are representing this figure. But yeah, it's your regular cardstock cardboard. It's not the thicker stuff that you would expect, or has like the corrugated. It's not made out of the corrugated material like you had with the Takara Tomy figures. And would I pay more if I wanted that higher quality cardboard? If it was
image or the artwork, all of it,
right? If you had that and it was a few dollars more, yes, I would. I think it gives. I think presentation, first impressions, or first and foremost. And while people might be quick to rip the figure out of the box, I think it does. It sells itself a little bit more when the brand or the company puts a little more effort into things. Someone asked a question about, would you prefer the stock images of the actual figure on the box, or do you like the artwork? And for me, I'll always go with artwork. Yeah. I think seeing that representation,
I like that,
helps create the illusion and the life that figure you're hoping it's going to present when it's in your hands.
Hey,
that it's going to walk off or something.
Somebody just joined as a member, Rodimus Subprime.
Oh,
very
awesome!
Nice. What is this saying? TMROPP?
It's actually your custom emoji. It's the Prime face.
Okay, got it. So, I have to. Yes, OPP. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Other people's primes is what I was going for. But if you don't remember, back in the day, there was a song called OPP. Mm-hmm. It did not stand for other people's primes. You can go look that up on Google.
Right. But Jonathan just came up with a good comment. He said the problem with the DS box is that it has no support. His came all smashed up. And that's exactly what I was trying to say back to Ricky in regards to how if you want to pay a little bit more for that premium box, and does that also mean the innards of that box to protect the figure?
Yeah.
For example, as you know, everyone opens up their Fan Toys product and it's in that nice styrofoam box, except for those that are twitching for the environment and everything else. But you get that, that there's a good level of protection in there.
Yes, unless they have a flaw in the package itself.
Yes,
which they did for Iceman. They had a flaw in the package.
So
they left it unsupported, and some people, I don't know how many, I never found out, but there were some number of people that got a broken leg because even though you had that nice protective thing, because they didn't support the leg, some people had broken legs.
Right. So to answer the question, if it was a few dollars more for better protection and presentation, yes.
Yeah. So people's 58% said fancy, so they would pay they'd pay the extra for the box. I'm surprised by that. 8% said cheap, and then 33% said whatever, just give me the figure. Yep. I get that. Most people throw the packaging away or put it away somewhere, and it doesn't matter. So let me end that. But yeah, that's the interesting one is if you're not going to do anything with it, then I guess it doesn't matter.
Right, but like you said, if it's going to guarantee that your figure is protected well enough for it to get in your hand, then like I said, if it's not creating like a $10 difference or whatever that trigger point is for someone to say no, but I'm not going to get it because they're putting money into the packaging instead of the figure, then I can see that. But if it's like you said, a couple cents more to have a sturdier clamshell inside to protect your figure, then I'm all for
it. Does your wife? Oh, does your wife care about the boxes?
No. All she sees is that she comes down to the basement and like, you have more boxes. I'm like, yeah, it's all stacked up to her eye level, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I got to get them out. So, but no, like I said, it would only be a concern if they were out and in the way before, if we had like guests or someone coming over, then it's scurrying to get all that stuff put away. But Gil 21,210 whatever has a question. What's your all-time favorite box? And that includes boxes from the original. Oh,
I don't even know if I can say.
Yeah. That's a good, and this kind of goes back to this whole thing about packaging is what makes it, what brings your eye to that product versus something else. Example we can just go through because they both came out recently was the Perceptors that came out. And really looking at the boxes, both of them had a great presentation. Both of them were well protected, minus yours, but that was another matter altogether. And they both, they both had that great artwork for each one. Someone else was saying in regards to the G2, the G2 Fuzz that was coming out, the the way the box was put together reminded everyone of how the original G2 packaging came out for those toys. But all-time favorite box.
There is something about the G1 boxes that it brings a nostalgia. Now, it's nothing amazing about it. It's just that grid pattern, with the figures kind of floating in space.
Yes.
Now, when third party does that, it gives you the nostalgia.
Absolutely.
But it's not necessarily like the most amazing packaging. It's just a nostalgia factor.
It's all about how the designers want to trigger that memory for the older collector. And we see that even now through the new Legacies series coming out. I mean,
those are nice. Those are pretty nice boxes.
They're nice boxes. They have beautiful artwork. They catch your eye. They're right there.
Wait, what's your answer though for this question?
Oh, dude, my favorite. I mean, it's gonna have to, like, my very first Transformer that I bought with my own money was a G1 Jazz. So I always love that box and that picture of him standing there with his gun and the rocket launcher and stuff.
For me, you know what I'm going to say.
something Jetfire, Skyfire.
Yeah, it's going to be fancy toys. Probably Thomas. It might be. It could be Jetfire, but the Jetfire box is actually pretty boring. It's not the best.
Yeah, the Phoenix box is definitely, you can see the evolution in Fans Toys packaging.
Yeah.
And I thought someone said before, you could always see whether the image was more artistic or cartoon centric versus the more figure on the front of the box type of display. So,
yes, I would go probably something Fans Toys, maybe Thomas, or one of the ones, because those boxes have 3 different drawings on them. Because it's a triple changer, and it just looks cool.
So to kind of mix those two, just thinking about that now, another one is Sovereign. Sovereign has isometric angles going in with the figure of him right dead center. I mean, that's a great design.
So we asked the question, do you care about the artwork on the box? 62% said, give me that art. I'm really surprised by this. People are willing to pay a little bit more for nice packaging and nice artwork on the boxes. It really is kind of shocking me.
Yeah, and I want to respond to Travis White with saying the DX9 Capone was the most obnoxious box in history. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great figure, but my God, trying to put that box somewhere, it's not fun, much less.
Yeah, so my DX9 Capone has a sordid story. I ordered it in July of 21, and it got lost somewhere in China or in the sea. I don't know. And then it finally showed up in February. Yeah, I think it was February. February. So 7 months later, I got it. And by that time, I had already asked for a refund. So What I ended up doing is I told the guy, just don't send this other thing, just swap them out. But I got it broken. The box was broken.
Right.
The figure was good,
but it was the clamshell or something inside. It was all tore up.
The outer box was okay. It wasn't the best. It was not broken,
Mm-hmm.
but the inner clamshell was totally destroyed. I opened it up and little pieces of plastic poured out of the box.
Oh,
but thankfully, it did the job. It protected the figure, and it didn't break. So, or maybe that speaks to DX9's design. Maybe it's robust enough to handle all the hits that it took coming along the way.
Well, possibly.
Oh, Jonathan Walker says MP10 Toys R Us best box in the world.
Nice mention, Jonathan.
That's a good box. Yeah. So, because it showed everything.
Mm-hmm.
It showed you everything you got. It showed you Optimus and the trailer and Roller and Spike. I mean, you got to see everything in there.
Yep.
That's a good one.
So one thing we talked about nostalgia and things you liked or what made Transformers boxes in the past and now so interesting. And Ricky just read my mind with it. It was the gimmicks with the box. You turn that G1 package around and you got the tech specs and you want to tear it open so you can get that little red translucent film and look over and see what those numbers are. That's something I think only a few companies still try to do on the box. I know that a lot of these figures, we get collector's cards. I know you have a vast collection on your wall of those cards that contain those tech specs, but you don't see that a lot with the figures nowadays.
I liked that question so much I asked. So,
well, crap. Okay.
Do you think 3P boxes should have gimmicks with their box packaging? So the only one I know of is MMC, right?
MMC does. X Transbots does.
They have the decoder thing?
Yes. If not the decoder, they at least have the tech specs on the back. And I thought some of Fans Toys earlier boxes might have had it, but you're more the expert with them than I am. So
I don't remember seeing it other than MMC. I only remember seeing it there.
And I guess Ricky's also expanding on it and saying in regards to that is the bios.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that question.
A lot of them do. A lot of our figures do still have some sort of bio or some sort of story that goes along with it, which is great. I think that fits with the brand.
Yeah,
I think it fits with the whole idea of the story. And again, we've seen the tale of Transformers morph throughout the decades. I mean, we're on 40 plus years of it now, and we've had how many universes and deaths and rebirths and everything else.
Memo says XTP doesn't have the red decoder.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
I don't remember seeing it, but
I had, I wish I had my, if I had my Archos here, I'd pull everything apart and see.
Ricky's got some great questions. So I like this one. I like the bios, but when they're so illegible, then I don't care anymore. But I always tell myself I'm going to go back and read the Fans Toys bios because some of them are really interesting and they're actually kind of funny. But I've never gone back and done it. One day, I'm just going to take the collector's cards out and just read them.
Yeah, like I said, I'm using the G1 identification and price guide because it had the original Bob Budiansky bios in there. So I've been taking those and including those into my database because it just helps me get that spark and memory of why I like these figures, why I bought this particular one, and going through and it makes me want to keep collecting. Kind of like walking down into your space there and seeing that vast collection of figures along your wall. It's all part and parcel. Is what's this? If you look at a figure and say, well, what's the story behind that? Well, you have the packaging here that might give you that bit of info to start sparking up your own stories.
G Tony just joined as a member. I told him he didn't need to. Thank you.
About time. Good job, G.
I think so it's another thing about membership really quick, and then I'll let this go. I think it'll motivate me to do more content because right now I'm just whatever, I'll just do it when I get to it.
Right.
But if I've got members who are expecting content, I think that would drive me to produce something, right? Or at least film something that's interesting or unique for them.
Okay.
So that's another reason that I want to do it. But again, you don't have to join. Nobody has to join.
So that kind of goes in. What do we?
I like this question too.
Okay. Yeah.
Was there another one you meant that I
No,
missed?
no. I was going to go into another part of packaging in regards to what we didn't like about it, but let's go with Ricky's. Ricky, you're getting a gold star.
You're nailing it. He's nailing it with these questions. I'm not even going to put them in the chat because I'm just going to put up your question on the screen and let people answer it because these are great questions, right? Nailing the topic that we're talking about. So, do you prefer to figure in alt mode or robot mode? I assume he means when it comes in the box to you. So, what about you?
I'm probably gonna go with the 50% crowd on this and say I like seeing them come in robot mode, and then the puzzle for me is to put them in the alt mode if I choose to go that way. I think, like we talked about in other streams, I think the majority of collectors prefer to keep them in bot mode, unless they they buy multiples and they can do both modes and such. But I think for the collector, I prefer to have it come out in robot mode, and then I'll choose if I want to transform it.
Right. So that's interesting because as a reviewer, I have a different answer than as a consumer. As a consumer, I want it in robot mode because most likely I'm going to display it that way, and I may or may not transform it. Mm-hmm. But as a reviewer, I'm guaranteed I'm going to transform it. I have to. So I want it in alt mode because I like to start the review like that. And then the reveal is, okay, here's how it looks in the robot mode. It just kind of, it starts in the disguise and then it goes to and for me, and MGO actually does that. He'll do his review starting in alt mode, even though it came packaged in robot mode.
Right.
Now I stopped doing that because it frustrates people when they come to learn the transformation and you're doing it backwards.
Right.
And they got it in, robot mode. They're trying to go to alt mode. And you went the other direction. That's no good. No. So I stopped doing that.
Well, what took me a while in regards to how packaging and how something came packaged was that third train bot that came in combined mode, which is something that we don't normally see at all.
Yeah.
And how many people in the community were just like, yeah, I'm not even transforming. I'm keeping it for a combined mode and I'm just putting it right there. So that was kind of interesting because it was hard. I think it was hard to find a reviewer that when that figure came out that was willing to do the transformation to show it, because for the third train bot, the Kaon for the Raiden.
I still haven't gotten mine. I'm going to do it, but I haven't got it yet.
Well, like I said, if you don't get it and I get my fourth train bot, which just shipped, if I get that next week, I'll get it up there to you. So
here's an interesting one. I've never thought about this. Best smelling boxes.
There are some reviewers that they're like, there's that smell or that whether it's the lubrication that's on the figure to protect it or the protective paint. I know Fansoy's, that's something that everyone I remember can say, whether it's the tactile feel of that or the smell of it opening. Maybe that's why it's an experience for everyone when they get their new Fansoy's product to open that box and go through that experience. Memo had another question that was up in here in regards to packaging these, and he was like, would you prefer less accessories for better packaging?
Oh, I want that question. Where is that? I'm not even going to put up polls anymore. I'm just going to put up their questions.
Here, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy it and repost it. So, Memo, I want to make sure I got that one.
Yeah, Memo will give you credit for asking the question. You guys are nailing it with the questions, so there's no reason for me to put my poll questions up. Would you prefer more accessories? I assume for the same price is the assumption here.
I think so.
More accessories or better packaging? What do you say?
And again, if we're going to go with less packaging, we're hoping that the company is smart with what they're going to give. Examples, like you said, we just had Chomp that came out that had his sword tail and the gun, and
Right.
then right before that we had Tesla, which had a plethora of faces and guns and all this other stuff. It's a tough one for me to say if I would want less accessories, because that cuts down on options for me. Even though half the accessories might go into my accessory bin, which is down on the floor by my workbench, but I'd rather have those options.
Yeah.
Than not at all.
So that's why Transbots is such a good company for you, because they do it all. They're like, we want to give them every single possible accessory from every episode, so that you can produce any scene that you want.
Right.
I personally don't. So like I'm the complete opposite. Like I'd rather put that money into the figure. Now his choices were more accessories or better packaging. I guess I'd have to choose better packaging, but I'd rather just put the money into the figure. Like make the figure higher quality or more robust, or improve the design and transformation. Because like you said, like 90% of the accessories go back in the box. The only ones I keep are guns,
or signature effects, right?
Yeah, and effects, right? If there's an effect. But like the little birds, the logs, the stools.
Yes.
The only ones I keep are the people. Like if there's little people, little characters.
Or like with Locke came with that Sharkticon tail, which was iconic for that 2 or 3 frames in the movie, but it's such a cool and well made accessory that it's just one of those, like, I like having that out so I can lift, have his arm up and pretend it's, whipping it around like a flail and such. So
there was Dr. Diecast asked a question. So have you bought boxes? Have you ever purchased a box on its own?
No, I have not bought just a box. I will say I have bought just instruction books. And specifically it was with my Fans Toys Shock Blast, because it came with the box but didn't come with the instruction manual. And I was at that point where, like, all right, it's got to have everything. It's got to be just like, how it opened the box. So I looked on eBay and I bought one for $7. And then when I got it, I put it in the accessory box, and I'm like, there's $7 for absolutely no reason. So I don't see myself, if I buy a loose figure, to go and find the box for it.
Yeah. So I'm the same way. The only reason I would get the box is if I was planning to resell it, and the figures, people want the box. There's some cases where they want it, but for the most part, the only one I was looking at buying was MP10.
Okay.
Because I never got the Japanese box. I had the Toys R Us box. I actually ended up throwing away, because after a while it started to come apart.
Okay.
It was the plastic kind. Like the whole thing was plastic. It had a little bit of cardboard, but mostly it was plastic. And eventually it broke, and then it was like, okay, can't even display it. So I wanted to buy an MP10 box, Takara MP10. But I never did. But that's like the only example, because it would fit in this little box display I have back here. We have another new member, Mr. Slow DK.
Now,
regularly, thanks for joining.
We've brought up a lot of positives and how packaging can help sell a figure for a collector, or display like art. I mean, which is in and of itself, that creativity is just wonderful to have and look at. But what are some things that we've seen or that are coming out now that are kind of negatives with the boxes? We've kind of mentioned, material wise, if it's paper thin, it gets a drop of water on it. Next thing you know, it's melting on you.
Yeah. If it's cheap, then no good. Like,
And the other thing that I'm finding recently is, again, we're talking about legacy. Yes, the boxes are great, but I hate having the figure exposed. And we've seen.
Has it led to like people stealing it though?
I
don't know
mean,
if that's happened.
I don't know if people like actually steal the entire figure, but if you remember last year, there was something because kids are kids that they were going through and grabbing the head off
The
of
head off the
the
that was a
Space
meme.
Jam.
But
Yeah, it started out, but I've also seen some pictures on within the community of people going through and finding like what was it? There was the new Buzzworthy cup, and there was the blue streak or silver streak that came out where people were taking the heads off of that now too, just because it's
Right.
exposed. So I understand the reason why Hasbro is going that route, and I commend them for doing it, but it just makes it such a bitch at times because again, that it just any opening you have that window that creates a fragile point within the box, and especially if you're getting something shipped, from overseas or even within the U.S. Sometimes if that box gets smashed, you're going to have that cardboard crinkle and everything right around, and if you're a mitten box collector, now it's ruined for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do?
I care more if the figure is damaged, but
right.
I'm going to take a few more. It's 10 o'clock, so we should try to wrap up. But I'll take one more Ricky question, and then also I want to recognize. I was not expecting this many people to go and take a membership, but it's awesome. Thank you. It's going to motivate me to actually do something and make content that's interesting. So thanks, Carl. And Carl, we have to get you on the show next week. I like this question though, so I lost it now. Ricky asked another good question. He's on point here. Do you put figure boxes in another box or store them loose? So Mike already said, right? You store them in big.
I have them in a storage. I have them in these big the big plastic totes. I store them in there.
So mine are loose. I have them stacked up as high as they'll go in the ceiling in the room I have it in. So they're Fans Toys boxes. They're probably getting scratched up or whatever. I mean, I care a little bit. Like I don't want them destroyed, but I also if a scratch gets on it, whatever. So I'm not storing them in another box, but I can see people doing that just to protect it. Especially if you're gonna resell something, then you want it to be in a good condition. But for the most part, I don't.
Right.
Would you like to see a mail away figure? That's interesting. Oh, so actually, I think he's talking about like you cut out pieces of the box.
Oh, okay.
Like UPC
I did that.
Something. So I actually just did this. So a buddy of mine, he doesn't want his name out there. He asked me if he could have the UPC off of my Takara Tomy Seekers because he needs that to send it to Japan.
Oh, for the coronation set.
So I said, yeah, I don't need UPC. So I cut it out, sent it to him, and then he sent it to Japan. And then he has a buddy over there who's going to get the coronation set, send it back here. And the awesome thing is he's going to send it to me so I can review it, and then I'll send it back on to him. Okay. So would you like to see mail-away figures? No. The main reason is mail-away figures require you to send to a mailing center. And the problem with that is the companies who do it, they take forever to do it because you got to process everything manually. You manually process the UPCs, you manually process the addresses. It's not automated. There's no computers, doing it. And so it takes forever to do it. Like back in the day, maybe, but now just let me register online, let me put my information in and get it. So those Takara coronation sets, they're going to take forever because they have to go through all of these manual, boxes people send in, which is crazy. That's the old school way to do it. For me personally, I wouldn't. How about you?
No, I don't. Again, for the same thing, like I'm not normally going to be just dismantling or cutting the boxes apart just for something like that. If they would accept And surprisingly, I don't see how I don't know why companies would do it nowadays. Just do a scan or take a picture of the UPC,
right,
and send it with like your receipt or something like that. That would make things so much easier. And I think Dare just kind of said the exact same thing that we were going with. It's just we're advanced enough now that if we're sending images across the world in a second, why do you need to put something in the mailbox, send it out, and then wait 6 to 8 weeks for something to come back? It's just not needed anymore.
Wasn't there a Simpsons episode where Bart visits a box factory? I don't remember that.
My Simpsons.
So much Simpsons.
There were like 31 years of that.
That's
stuff.
Crazy.
So.
All right. It's late. You guys had some great questions. Thank you. And then thanks for all the people that joined as a member. I was not expecting or even asking anybody to. I just thought I'd start it and see what happens. Try it out. So now I have to motivate myself to actually produce some things. I already have some ideas. So
and a lot of people were asking in the chat on how to join. They didn't really see.
So
I don't know if you can share it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me bring it up on screen. Hopefully I think it looks the way you'll see it. If it doesn't, then my apologies. Maybe it doesn't look like this for you. But if you go to my channel, there's a button. So first thing is click on the TM Reviews channel. And then you should see a join there or in the video right now. And hopefully this is probably going to cause a problem because the audio. Okay. Right here. So right below the video, above the description, it says join. You click on that, and then it gives you the options. What are the different options? I'm actually waiting for the 99-cent one to get approved. So there's a second tier. So that tier, you won't have the videos. It's just everything but the videos. So that one is, as soon as YouTube approves it, it'll be on there. So if you're not interested in the $1.99 one, you can do the 99 cents, or you can do another of them. It doesn't matter. And I'll probably never talk about this again because I hate talking about it. But if you're interested, that's where it is. That's where it is. All right, that's it for tonight. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you for once again. I'm humbled to always be on your channel and to talk to you about this hobby that we have, and hopefully after looking through stuff tonight, for those of you guys watching this stream either now or later, take a chance or take a moment and go back and look at those boxes, see if there's something that catches your eye, or if you're looking at things like, all right, well, yep, here it is, and it's going to go right back in the box. There's a level of effort that each of these companies put in to try to entice you to buy this. And while a lot of us get these shipped from across the states or across the country, look at it in a retail value too, a retail world. The War for Cybertron trilogy of boxes, they were really cool in regards to like the artwork was so visceral, I guess you want to say, especially like what's popping in my mind is the Titan class what's he, Omega Supreme, that box of the art and and Jetfire,
all these
commanders. Oh, it's so cool to look at, and it really brought more pleasure than watching the actual Netflix show.
Sure. So thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back next week. Our topic is going to be dioramas and backgrounds for display. I'm going to make sure I don't forget about Carl and try to get him on the show next week. So we'll see you then, and have a good night. Later.
Night, everyone.